Hey, welcome. I'm Anthony Hampton, the Director of City Connections and your host for Get Connected AR here at Brandon House Cultural Arts Center and Arts Absolutely. And so we're thankful for their partnership in hosting us today. And my friends from United Way are here with us today. Welcome.
Hi,
Thank
thanks for
you.
having us.
How are y'all?
We're doing good. How are you?
Good. Well, Central Arkansas United Way, I know there's a number of different names. And so I want to make sure to correct that. Heart of Arkansas United
That's
Way.
right.
Let's kind of talk about that. What's history wise, how did we get here for why
Yeah.
Heart of Arkansas and United Way collectively?
Yeah, so the origin story of United Way sort of as a whole is sort of like a joke setup. It's like a priest, a rabbi, and a lady get together. But essentially, as workers started moving around the country and coming into new places for jobs, the faith community and the social service community sort of realized we need to do something to support
Yeah.
people. So it got going in Denver and then grew from there. Our United Way is 101 years
Oh
old,
wow.
and started really as a way to be the connection point between businesses who saw need but didn't exactly know how to give back in their communities and the people who needed help.
Okay.
And so we still run corporate giving campaigns. Emma leads our efforts for that. And that's a big part of what we do is sort of make that giving accessible to meet community needs to our business partners. But it's grown and evolved since then.
No, that's helpful to understand, to know that initially it grew out of the various different needs, but
Yeah.
for businesses to probably want to find two ways in which they can give back and
Absolutely.
somewhere that it can be kind of trusted in being able to do that. And now you have a place such as Heart of Arkansas that can be able to kind of do that, and now they don't have to do all the behind the scenes work and background and all that stuff. You all can kind of do that legwork
Yes.
for them, and they trust you for that side of it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't know if you want to talk about sort of what you do on the campaign side.
So on the campaign side, we do a lot of meetings like at corporations and businesses, and we share a lot about like what the Heart of Arkansas United Way does and like where the money that they donate goes. And then we provide a place, like you said, to donate. And this will give them a place to donate, and we are a trusted member of the community, so everybody
Yeah.
kind of knows what we do, which is great.
So, 101 years.
Yeah.
You've been serving here, Central Arkansas, and what that has looked like, and so it's transformed from one something to the next. What are those transformations begin to kind of look like currently?
Yeah, I think United Way probably started pretty broad, right? We've got a broad array of community needs, and while we still believe that we're a place where people can come and care about a lot of different things, and don't necessarily have to be the expert on any one given issue in our community, I feel like we're a little bit more focused now
Okay.
in what our priorities are and
So
what
you
our
probably went
emphasis
from
is.
this broad spec to kind of narrowing it down to
Yeah.
kind of get a little more focused.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of that has to do with our work around the Alice population,
Okay.
which is, I always say it's a kind of a mouthful. It's a big long acronym. The acronym is not what's the important part, right? It does stand for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. So I always want to get that out there.
Right.
But really, the idea here is there are people in our community who are working, who are probably working 2 or 3 jobs. They're leaving their full-time job and they are bringing your DoorDash or, driving Uber or taking another full part-time job, going to
Right.
Target after they get off work, and still coming up short at the end of the month.
So you're really talking about what sometimes ends up being the people that I consider to be in the middle.
Yeah,
And so they make too much to qualify for
That's
many
right.
of the benefits, but at the same time, I still don't make enough
that's right.
to really meet the month.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a point where, to get real into the weeds, we call it the benefits cliff, which I know you're probably familiar with, where you start earning just enough that you lose access to your
Yeah.
benefits, and then your bottom line at the end of the month is worse off.
Yeah.
And so it's not worth it to take that additional income. And so we haven't built a system and structure, I think, in this country that really supports the people who are working hard and still struggling. And I think right now, I mean, I feel it whenever I go to the grocery store, I walk away and I go, how did I spend that much
Right.
money on groceries this
Yes.
week? And so that population is growing. I think we're all feeling a little bit more stretched, but the ones who were already below that threshold
Yeah.
are struggling even more.
Because
than they
even
have been.
sometimes, even when pay increases,
Yeah.
but you have inflation and
That's
various
right.
different other things, it's like, well,
It doesn't keep
I
up.
didn't really see it.
Yeah.
So that Alice population, let's talk about that. How much of this population, Central Arkansas and the state,
Yeah.
would you say kind of falls in that threshold?
Yeah, so looking at the state as a whole, 16% of our population lives below the federal poverty line, which is
Okay.
sort of what we typically think of as financial insecurity. We talk about living in poverty or growing up in poverty. There are a lot of people, an additional 28%, who may not hit that official poverty level, but it feels that way, right?
So you have the 16% that they qualify for the benefits.
Yes.
The 28%
Yeah.
make $1 too much.
Yep, that's right. I know. I'm always like, the federal poverty line for a family of 4 is $30,000.
Wow.
If
For a family of 4.
For a family of 4, for annual income, if you made $31,000 and you had a family of 4, you're not technically in poverty,
Wow.
but you are. You know, in practice, that's what that looks and feels like, right? And so it totals 44% of the population that is living somewhere below this Alice threshold. And I always like to say it's based on local cost of living.
Mm-hmm.
But it's based on a really bare bones local cost of living.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people look at that budget and say, wow, that's really, really minimal. It doesn't include things like savings. And so that's where that sort of asset limited piece comes. When something happens, like, you know, anything honestly from a tornado
Yeah.
to a flat tire can be a crisis that you aren't prepared for, and you don't have the resources to be able to get yourself through it.
No, in 2023, when we had the tornado here, you know, for many who are not from Arkansas, you would, Little Rock specific anyway, there are certain areas of town that haven't felt that devastation
We were
in
talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
40 plus years, some would say.
Yeah.
And so when it hit pretty much this West Little Rock part of town, I could imagine, I know the phone calls that we got at City Connections
Yes.
for families and things in need, and many of them over here. And to think that many of those families had either inherited the homes that they were
Yeah.
in and things of that nature, to where, oh, we can't afford to rebuild or
Right.
do some of those things. And so sometimes when you talk about, like you say, that Atlas population, and we're looking at 44%, where they are financially and where they live may not always tell the story.
That's right. If you bought your house and you've raised your family in your house and you bought it in, I don't know, in 1990, and
Right.
you've paid it off, and all of a sudden it's gone,
Yeah.
you know, the cost of that house is so much more than it was
Right.
when you bought it. And so your financial future is all of a sudden, you know,
Yeah.
at risk, up in the air.
Completely gone almost.
Yeah.
And so different programs and things that you all kind of offer to kind of connect people to that fall in that threshold.
Yeah. We, the thing, again, kind of going back to our history and talking about a little bit about what Emma does, the biggest program we're known for is our grant program, our community investment grants. So we've got 3 areas that we give grants in.
Okay.
One is youth opportunity, one is financial security, and then healthy community, which we define as investing in mental health.
Okay.
All of those, when you think about financial security, it's really easy to think of Alice off the top of your head.
Right.
We really tried to pull Alice into all of those things. Something like investing in, say, a Boys and Girls Club
Okay.
as a youth opportunity program is not only beneficial to that child, but it's beneficial to that Alice family, because all of a sudden they've got a free place to go after
Right.
school. And so with the cost of childcare, and that's a big conversation in the state of Arkansas right now, something like that grant to the Boys and Girls Club can help provide families a space for their kid to be safely, and for their kid to be getting access to resources like tutoring and mentoring and even mental health resources has been a part of that puzzle as well. So we have right now 24 funded partners across the city, including Operation Restore that we've invested in for a couple of years.
Thank you. We take it not for granted to be able to help provide opportunities for some of the men and women that we end up serving.
Yeah, well, and I think so much of who you serve is that Alice population
They are,
too.
yeah.
That's a
Because
big
for
piece
many
of
of
who's coming
them,
out.
they are individuals, for us anyway, who are either justice impacted or have substance use disorder, who are going through programs to get their life back on track, and have all these other things behind them, so that even when we find a job opportunity for them, they're so far behind already that just 1 month ahead can really help.
Yeah.
And so thinking of things of that nature is how we've been able to kind of service some of those individuals. So.
Yeah, and so much of it is how do you cut back on a barrier?
Yes, I was going to say at the end of our last grant cycle, our 20 partners reported that we served about 20,000 individuals within the community, which is pretty awesome that our campaigns were able to put money towards those grants for sure.
20,000 individuals,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Whose lives have been changed, I would say, forever the more because of the work that's been able to kind of be done.
Yeah, and we're really excited about that number. It's a
Yeah.
big number.
right? But it's also, you know, when we get to dig into what are the stories behind
Right.
that number, there's measurable things there, like kids being more ready for kindergarten.
Yes.
And if they're more ready for kindergarten, they're going to stay on track through school and be more ready to graduate and go on to whatever may be next for them. Another one I was really excited about was a partnership, a grant we gave to Habitat for Humanity of Central Arkansas. They did a lot of work last year around what would it take to be ready to own a home.
Yeah.
We're not gonna break ground on you just yet. We need to get you financially ready to own a home. And their clients actually paid down debt and improved
wow.
their credit scores as a result of that programming. So again, how do we, our systems are set up with a lot of barriers for people, and how do we remove some of those barriers through investing in these three kind of areas?
So you talked about the youth investment slightly. Any other projects other than the Boys and Girls Club that you all have kind of invested in around that area?
Yeah, long-time partnership with Our Kids Read is another one that we feel really strongly about. In my past life, I did some work around youth literacy, and so that one always stands out to me as an organization that it is really focused on an indicator, an outcome and an indicator that really is a good predictor of future success. If we can get this third grade reading thing right,
Yes.
we're setting ourselves up for success. It's not to say, you know, we're 100% going to get there, but we're setting ourselves up to see
Right.
kids graduate from high school. Also, on the flip side of that, that's a reading tutoring program. On the flip side of that, we partner with the library system. You think of the library system, you think of reading. Their program is a math tutoring program.
Awesome.
And so that's a virtual program. And you can do it in person at library locations as well. But for a lot of families, they have found, they started it during COVID virtually.
Right.
And they found those families are like, we have baseball, we have dance, we have church, we have too many things we cannot come to this library to. Can you just get on a call
Right.
and help our kid with math? And so that's been exciting to have
Is that
both of
elementary
those
focused
things,
or what?
all the way elementary through high school.
Wow.
So they've got, if you've got a kid in algebra or geometry who is struggling,
Yeah.
Molly Ballmer could have really benefited from this circa Algebra 2. Yeah, then CALS has that opportunity available. And that, again, is just, it's pathways into, if you can get that down, what does that set you up for? What does that prepare you for? Both from a perspective of preparing our workforce and preparing kids to go to college and all of that, but it's also, I don't know, at the individual kid level, doesn't it feel better to feel like you've mastered something? And doesn't that build your confidence?
Right.
And doesn't it make you just feel like, okay, I can do the next thing. I can like check off this box and go on to the next hurdle, and I'm ready for it. And that confidence builder is a big piece of it for me.
So a number of initiatives there, and I'm pretty sure we'll give the website and stuff at the
Yeah.
end that people can kind of go and learn about those opportunities to really plug into what's on the horizon, or will things just kind of stay as they are as it relates to various different initiatives for Heart of
So
Arkansas?
I'll take that one. So we have a new initiative called Retire United, and this
Okay.
is for retirees or those who are nearing retirement. And so we have
Now, is that a certain? Well, okay. I was gonna say I feel like I'm nearing retirement, but I'm probably not. Anytime soon.
You've got some time.
And so these are for individuals who are in or near retirement, and then we have a project a month. So we have a couple projects lined up from October until December, and then we'll create a new calendar. But this allows the retirees to like fulfill a passion within themselves, but also connect with others that are like-minded and want to do the same. So we've had some really cool groups that were able to go volunteer, and we've got a couple more projects coming up, like with Women and Children's First, Arkansas Food Bank, and Our House.
And so how do those that are retired or nearing retirement kind of sign up for that?
Yes, so on our website at heartar.org/retire, is that correct? We have it's like a information about each project, and then there's like a place where you can click, and it's like a sign-up sheet.
Okay.
And
So-
Emma's contact information is there.
Yes, absolutely. So we can get that sent to you as well.
Okay. Anything else new over there? Or coming?
So ongoing, but hoping to grow it
Okay.
in the coming months is a program we've been working on called Alice at Work.
Oh, let's take a look. Okay.
And so this really backs out of where if our grants are, how do we meet the immediate needs of Alice individuals and families? Alice at Work says, again, going back to our acronym, that E plays a really important role. Alice is employed.
Right.
And so let's talk to employers about what they can do for their Alice workforce to make a change in these folks' lives. And I always say, like, wages are an inextricable part of this conversation. We've got to talk about how much money people are making, but there are really low-cost, high-impact things that employers can do that not only are a nice thing to do for their Alice
Right.
employees, but also when folks are not stressed about their
Yeah.
financial security and about what's going on at home, they can bring their best selves to work. They can be more productive. When you're doing good by your employees, you can keep your employees
Right.
also. It's a real retention strategy as well. So I think when we talk about sort of on a system level, on a zoomed out level, on a long-term level, how do we make a change for our Alice neighbors?
Yeah.
Getting connected to the employers is a really important piece of that. So we're recruiting businesses who want to participate in that now. And anybody who wants to talk about Alice at Work, I'm happy to talk to them about it.
So there's again, and that's why we built this platform, is for you all to kind of help
Yeah.
people to connect. And so there's some that need the services. There are some that can service.
That's
And
right.
So those employers that have opportunities that's available to say, hey, I want to learn more about that. What are some small things that won't be as cost impacted that can really help?
Yeah.
I was talking to a colleague this morning. He was like, it's just one of those things where if sometimes that they felt appreciated.
Yes.
And what
Yes.
some of those things kind of look like. And
Yeah, yeah. And we've had the companies who've participated so far, we've had banks and nonprofits participate in the
Okay.
program so far. And really the things that they have done have not been these massive,
Yeah.
grand changes. How do we retime our reimbursements so that employees aren't carrying a work expense
Right.
until the end of the month,
Right.
that they get reimbursed for that right away? How do we offer? We had a bank who offered financial wellness education to their customers, and they realized, we act like bankers have it all together. And we realized that our employees could probably benefit from having the same access that our customers have. And so all of a sudden, quarterly, their employees are empowered to think about their own financial wellness
Yeah.
and how they build assets for their family and for their future. And so it doesn't have to be a huge deal.
Yeah.
It can be a small change, but it can be the difference between an Alice individual being able to build stability and them not being able to do that, and between them, again, staying at your company for the long haul and growing there and being an important part of your workforce, and just turning over because they want to go find somewhere that's going to take care of them.
Yeah. So continuously growing Alice at work and some of these other things, what is Heart of Arkansas dreaming about? That we can hopefully look forward to soon or to come.
Yeah. Well, so I would say two things. I mean, one again is the Alice at Work piece. We've got a really good infrastructure for this specific program, but it is a commitment. Our employers who participate in it are committing to 6 modules. They're committing to a year of action planning with check-ins, some data analysis. I'm dreaming about how do we offer a lower barrier of entry to just having conversations with employers about Alice. And so that's very early on my mind, the very beginning phases of what that could potentially look like. But that's something I'm kind of dreaming about and excited about. We also feel like, we want to be there and be able to meet the immediate needs of our neighbors, but we want to be able to zoom out and think bigger about the barriers that are put on people by, the systems of the world. And part of doing that is starting to have a voice with our elected officials.
Yeah.
And so that's a thing that is we're feeling led into right now, for a number of reasons that we want to be a voice, not for the voiceless, but for people who are at work right now. And so they can't go up to the Capitol and advocate for themselves because they need to be at work. We can help our elected officials understand.
And sometimes it's the availability, it's
That's
the
right.
flexibility that they do or don't have.
Yep.
It's the I don't know how to do that.
That's right. That's right.
Some of those components, or that's not a world that I want to play well in, but I
That's
want
right.
my voice or at least some
Heard.
sense of.
Yeah, we can't get 20,000 people up to the Capitol,
Right.
probably, but we can organize a coalition of folks who are interested in talking about Alice to our elected officials, and just encouraging our elected officials, think about this population when you're making decisions that
Right.
are going to affect them.
And if the businesses that you all are partnering with have begun to kind of buy into it or see the heart and vision of it,
It'd be
then
amazing.
hopefully that they will be some of that support
Yeah.
for it just as well.
Yeah, we'd love that.
What have I not asked about as it relates to Heart of Arkansas?
Oh gosh. I think
Or what have we not talked about?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am in charge of corporate volunteering. So if a corporation would like to have like a group that would volunteer, sometimes organizations will have paid time where their employees can go work. So if anybody is ever interested in that, I would be the person to contact and get them in contact with the nonprofit of their choice and then the volunteer project that they choose.
So talk about those volunteer opportunities. So how are you all kind of setting those up? Because you may have need of volunteers, but then you may have need of places to volunteer. So
Yes. So it's typically like an employer would reach out to me, and then I'm able to like go to their nonprofit of choice and say, "Hey, are you interested in any work?" And most of the time, the answer is yes, and we're able to get those people in contact.
okay. So it's just you all kind of connecting the dots for some of the different employer and
Yes.
businesses that y'all have that are there.
Matchmaking.
Yes.
Yeah. So I ask this question often. Sitting in this seat, we could all be doing whatever we could be doing.
Yeah.
And so I asked both of you, Molly and Emma, why this work for you?
Do you want to go?
I would say that this allows me to help people, and this, like individuals and corporations or retirees that maybe want to get in contact to help serve, I'd be the person to talk to, but also like encouraging donations for these groups as well, and explaining like what the Heart of Arkansas United Way does and where their money goes and how their impact has affected so many people.
I have been in the nonprofit field for a long time. I've lost count of the number of years, in a variety of different ways. And I think nonprofit work gives you access to a lot of different kinds of work, and that was a selling point for me early on. And just, I think was raised sort of with a heart for service and decided to explore this as a way to do it. My job right before I was here was working directly with kids and families, and a lot of that time was spent working with kids and families who were facing some sort of crisis. We were just talking about this on the way over here. I told Emma I did that work when I wasn't in a position to super know how to take care of myself within it.
Right.
And so when I left that job, honestly, I felt pretty burned out. This work can take a toll on you. Finding United Way has been a real gift for me because it's been a chance to be there for the people who are doing this work. I know how hard it is. The best version of this job for me is not just we write a check quarterly to a nonprofit organization. It's that repeated connection and being a person who our partners know they can call and say, this has gotten hard because I know it. I know that very intimately, how hard that gets. And I know right now our partners are up against a lot with, changes in funding, and there's a lot of changes that are hitting our sector and hitting our ability to do our work, and so that additional support is needed, I think. And we're also going to have to figure out how to work together to get through it, and that's what excites me about this work.
As we wrap up, encouragement you both would give to the individual who sees this, that has the need, that falls within that ALICE threshold, as well as the individual or the business that doesn't fall into the threshold, but they may be impacted by federal grants or whatever those things are nonprofit-wise, or they have the opportunity to sow. Encouragement for them.
Yeah, I would say to those who are not ALICE, this is not far away from you. ALICE is not far away from you. This is not somebody who lives, on the other side of town, who you can just ignore and look away from. ALICE is who you encounter literally every single day, and is probably in your family or on your street or in your workplace. I think it is like critical to life. Community is critical to life. Living in community with people and supporting each other. It's not a nice to have.
Right.
It's a necessity. And so it doesn't take much. You can figure out how you can be a part of this, and we're happy to help you do that. I would say to our ALICE neighbors, you are not where you are because you've done anything wrong.
That's good.
That we haven't built an economy and a system that works for everybody.
Right.
And just know that there's a field. There are just such good people working here in Little Rock and in Central Arkansas, who are doing what we can to make sure that changes for you. Not just that you have the immediate thing, but that we can change what this looks like, and we can make a Central Arkansas that works for everybody.
I would say with your time and your financial ability, if you're able to serve through a volunteer aspect, or with your own money through donations or pledging.
Some contact information for both of y'all.
You can find both of us on our website. It's probably the easiest thing to do. It's heartaruw.org.
Awesome. Once again, Molly, Emma, thank y'all for being with us today. Heart of Arkansas, great work here in our community locally through the service of various different others. And so we look forward to you connecting with what's all going on there. Once again, this has been Get Connected AR. We're thankful for our partners here at Brandon House Cultural Center, Arts Absolutely. Until next time, y'all be blessed.